You're tuned in to the Foxboro BeatCast, a podcast for Patriots fans by Patriots fans. And here are your hosts, is Kaleb McChesney and Ryan Moore.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Foxboro BeatCast. I'm your host, Kaleb McChesney. Alongside me, as usual, my co-host, Ryan. Ryan, how are you on this fine Tuesday?
You know, I'm doing pretty awesome, despite the fact that the Patriots are doing everything in their power to make our lives miserable. I'm doing pretty awesome, man.
Yep.
Sun's shining still in October. I can't complain.
Patriots lose 32-16 on Sunday. We got up early in the morning to watch that. We'll go over that game. There are some people in the media making some noise after preaching for 20 years that the Patriots should ignore the noise. We'll get into that a little bit. And stuff around the league. So, yeah, should be fun. But let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Patriots lose 32-16 over across the pond in London. The defense allowed 4.4 yards per carry. Rushing Tank Bigsby was just a menace to society. 26 carries, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. At one point, they ran it 18 plays straight, and we couldn't stop it. Drake May, once again, leads your team in rushing. We're tied at least with Ramondre. 18 yards. Ramondre had 7 carries. Hunter Henry was your leading receiver, 8 for 92. So Michael Hasty was up next, 5 for 49 and 1. Kendrick Bourne, 1 for 14. KJ Osborne, 2 for 26 and 1. A little bit of an illness going around the Patriots receiving room. Demario Douglas got a little case of the flu or something like that while he was away. And then Jalen Polk got a case of the dropsies. So that's fun. We'll get into that a little bit. Let's see. Is there anything else worth mentioning? At least statistically wise, we led up a kick return touchdown to Parker Washington. That was cool.
Brutal.
And yeah. So Ryan, I'll let you kick it off first. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with the fact that honestly, I think we're teetering on a major cultural issues right
How
now.
so?
Like, you got the head coach, he's calling, the roster soft. You got one of your team leaders in Kendrick Bourne questioning guys about, going out at late at night. They're out in London, all that stuff.
So maybe Pop Douglas wasn't sick, he was just hungover?
Well, dude, he said food poisoning on his Instagram story.
I bet.
My immediate thoughts, I'm like, dude, London's known for their pubs. That dude might have been boozing a little too hard. Listen, been there, done that, but I'm not an NFL player. I'm not supposed to be doing that. Or you're not supposed to be doing that before a game. You're not Johnny Manziel, dude. Come on. I want to say, shit, who was it? There was someone on the defense that called out, it was Ekwale, called out some of the players as well, saying they need to be a lot better. And they're not, they're not putting in the work. And it's really concerning to me that we're 7 weeks into the dry Mayo, heading into week 8 now. Era, and this is what's going down.
A lot ties into what we've been talking about the last couple weeks with the off the field issues.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to talk about the F word in terms of firing.
A little early,
but Jerome Mayo, he needs to put his foot down and set a culture. This is getting ridiculous. You can't have guys going to the media every game, talking about, oh, we need to, do this better. We need to work harder. You can't have guys, playing like shit saying, oh, I got the best hands in the league. Cough. Jalen Polk.
You okay there? A little bit of a cough.
That was exaggerated. I'm not sick.
Neither was Demario Douglas.
Demario Douglas, your best receiver this year. I mean, was he or was he not boozing or eating like shit? I don't know.
It's not for us to decide. It's just a theory.
Yeah. But this is where, as a head coach, you can't do that. You can't do the players coach shit anymore. You gotta be a drill sergeant now. Put your foot down. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry. And it is a cultural issue. I know the Patriots are not the most talented team in the league, but I look at a team like the Jaguars, right? They suck. But you know why they suck? Because their culture fucking sucks.
There's no problem on that roster as far as talent goes.
Yeah. They're relatively talented. Like, we looked at their offense last week. I'm like, Trevor Lawrence had a generational tabs. He hasn't been that guy, but there's talent.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian
absolutely
Thomas Jr.
smoked Gonzo on that deep ball.
Dude, that guy's a problem. Like, he might. We talk about, like, wide receiver university and all that stuff. Just draft
Might have hit again.
receiver. Yep. Dude, he's a monster. But yeah, like Evan Ingram, Trevor Etienne. Did I say Trevor Etienne?
Travis
Shit,
Etienne.
Trevor plays for Georgia. I did it, dude. This is what I mean. If the Jaguars draft Trevor Etienne, I'm done. No, please don't. Christian Kirk. Tank Bigsby's been a revelation.
My boy, Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, you got him in Dynasty. He popped off for you.
Holding on to him for 3 years has worked out.
There's talent on that offense, but they have a piss poor culture. Doug Peterson has not put his foot down, and yeah, they might have got the win on Sunday, but let's be real, there's still dead men walking there. Like, I don't know, maybe this is a turnaround for the Jags.
No, we basically just gave Doug Peterson like another week's worth rent.
Yeah, we saved him from getting tarmacked. Like, that. You can't have a culture like that, and it's pretty embarrassing when I would say the most mature person on your team is your 22-year-old starting quarterback.
Younger than me.
Yeah, younger than both of us. And he is the most mature guy in the locker room by far right now.
And he's probably your best player.
Yeah, he's the Bugatti. He's the Bugatti in the fucking that picture, like the Bugatti in the outhouse, like
yeah. The one that Jalen Reagor posted right before he just had a disaster on Monday Night Football.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that. That's peak Jalen Reagor for you.
Seriously,
drafted over Justin Jefferson, by the way. But I have to hear about Howie Roseman's a genius. Okay,
he is. Howie Roseman's very good.
To some extent, yes. Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about the steps that Drake May has taken for sure. Turnover-free game, although there were 2 passes that probably should have been picked. He's got to work on that. But 26 to 37, 276 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty good stat line. We haven't had a stat line in that probably since like Mac's rookie year.
Yeah, dude, he is. There's so many throws that are just we haven't seen since Brady. Like,
he's had some like veteran IQ plays too. Like when a screen pass was getting blown up, he threw it at the running back's feet like he could do that, and he moved on. He's not out here running around scrambling, trying to make something out of nothing, and then taking a sack or fumbling or getting picked off. Like very good presence out of him. Like he knows what he's doing.
And outside of a couple passes that should have been picked off, like we look at last week, right? What were his turnovers? An overthrow, which was the right read. Like the receiver is open, he missed the throw. A fluke interception, and a strip sack where Danielle Hunter smoked your right tackle. This week, once again, like he's constantly making good decisions out there. He's much smarter than I think, I even gave him credit for. Yeah. And man, he the velocity he throws with is so impressive, man. Like I looked at that touchdown from to KJ Osborne.
Another
I'm
player who can't get off the goddamn social media.
dude, there needs to be like, if I honestly, if I'm Gerard Mayo, I would be like, all you're deleting your Instagram. No Instagram, no Twitter, none of that
Gerard
shit.
Mayo
So
gets all the passwords to your account.
yeah, Gerard Mayo gets a tweet from your account there.
Can you imagine? Every
Another
player's just
great win
tweeting, "I
today,
love
thanks to
Gerard
my
Mayo."
head coach and leader, Gerard Mayo.
Everybody's Twitter Avi is Gerard Mayo.
It's just different pictures of Gerard Mayo from his playing days.
Seriously, right?
Dude. Yeah, dude. And apparently that wasn't even his agent from KJ Osborne either.
Who was it?
It's a fucking random guy. I don't know, like one of his buddies? Like, I don't know. Like, that was bizarre.
Like the text message was really weird because it was like, "We'll take care of this situation. We'll figure out this situation." It made it sound like he was getting out, like he wanted out. By the way, speaking of wanting out, Jalen Polk, peace sign on the Instagram story.
That's another
Clown.
one where I'm like, just, if you're going to be
Wasn't
a diva
Jalen Polk
receiver,
supposed to be like this mature guy?
yeah. Everything we heard coming out of Washington was, okay, does he have the highest ceiling in the draft? Probably not, no. Will he ever be a superstar? No. But he'll be a reliable team leader, character guy, like a Jacoby Myers type or a Robert Woods. One of those guys, he'll play a long time in the league. He'll be really good, a high quality football player. And all we've seen so far is just a fucking train wreck. Like, and it makes me wonder, okay, our wide receivers coach was on that Washington staff. So he saw him every single day. And it makes me wonder, okay, was he trying to do a favor for a player he really liked? Or did he misjudge the situation? You misjudged Jalen Polk, and then once Jalen Polk got to the NFL, maybe money changed him, or his motivations changed, and he got complacent or something. Because some guys are like that, right? Like, you see players when they get their second contract or whatever, they become complacent, they become lazy. They made their generational wealth if you can spend it correctly, save and all that. Dude, so far through 7 games, Jalen Polk's been a disaster on
He's
social
been none of
media,
that.
on the field, and like making comments to the media. It's been terrible, and it genuinely makes me think, what the hell happened here? And it's frustrating. And credit where like 1,000,000% credit where credit's due, man. This is what I mean by Drake May being the best and most mature guy on the team right now. He is like, no, it's my fault for why Jalen Polk's not doing well. I need to take, I need to be better. All this stuff. Drake, it's not your fault. This is not you. And sure, I guess, like maybe yeah, you could, do a little more to alleviate the situation. I hope. Like I hope Drake May steers him on the right path. They're like him and Jalen Polk seem really close. Like we saw when they
In
got
camp in
drafted,
preseason, they were tied at the hip. Like they
dude,
really.
they were chumming it up at they had like last season like a Bruins playoff game or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were also at the Celtics final run. Like, you know what I mean? Like they've been, since they got drafted, tight at the hip, like you said. What's happening here?
Something is going on.
Yeah. And this absolutely is mental. Like, I don't think Jalen Polk is a bad receiver. I still stand by that. He's looked like shit, but from what I saw at Washington, even some of the flashes in the NFL, there's talent there.
But he's an absolute head case. He doesn't get it
right now. Yeah,
He doesn't get it.
and I really want this to be a Devontae Adams situation. where the first few years are really, really rough. Like, unplayable. Like, Packers fans wanted that guy gone. And for good reason. He was abysmal. And then year 3, him and Rodgers found chemistry. And then we know Devontae Adams now for what he is. And we'll talk about him later when we do our Jags deep dive. But, you got to put in the work. Adams put in the work to become who he is today. And that starts by, mentality. Polk's only 22. He could turn it around. I'm only a year older than him, but I'll be 2 years older than him soon. I'm not the most mature guy myself, admittedly. Things can flip around. But right now, it's not looking good.
Just between posting everything and then when Gerard Mayo says, yeah, he's got to get over this mental block, he takes it like, oh, I don't got mental issues. What are you talking about? I have the best hands in the league. Like,
immaturity.
Like, what is wrong with you? Like, this is like Antonio Brown behavior right now.
You're Antonio Brown without any of not even a fucking
fraction of the resume. Yeah, not even a fraction of his resume.
Like, Antonio Brown, before he completely lost his mind, was on pace to be arguably the greatest receiver ever. There was
if we take away the stupid things he's doing off the field to this day, he's probably a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, easily.
Now I don't know if he'll ever get in.
He won't make and it's because of his own doings.
But that not to say that we're comparing Jalen Polk to Antonio Brown in any sense, but
he's off to an ice cold start.
Yeah, it's bad. What else do I have written down? Yeah, we ripped Jalen Polk. The defense sucks, dude. It's bad.
And
listen, this isn't to say Tank Bigsby blows, because Tank Bigsby's my boy, but 18 straight rushes down your throat and you couldn't stop it.
You're making Tank Bigsby look like Derrick Henry.
Seriously. And then last week against Houston, I don't think that we were great against the run either. I'll go take a look right now, but I don't think it was.
Don't think it was relatively close. Sliced them. Ever since Juwan Bentley went out for the season, they've been abysmal.
102 yards, 7.8 yards a carry for Joe Mixon, 9.5 yards per carry for Dameon Pierce. You let them each rip off 50-plus yard runs.
There's a whole lot of guys on that defense, man, that are Juwan Bentley merchants. I'm just going to say it right now.
Seriously, we always knew he was important because, we're smart Patriots fans, but this is bad. We don't have anybody that can play inside linebacker.
This is XFL caliber shit from the team. And Gerard Mayo, you know what? I will say this, and there's a controversy around it because, of course, I do think he's in his right mind to call out the run defense.
They're soft.
Do you do it to the media? I don't know. In the film room, I would be ripping their fucking assholes apart for that.
They're soft. Mayo didn't tell a lie. They are a soft unit.
Yeah, he handled it in the wrong way, because don't ever go external with your criticism. Always keep it internally.
See, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem with our diva receivers. They see Mayo go to the media and use them as a messaging source, because Mayo pretty much admitted to it today in this press conference, or yesterday. Yeah, I use the media as a tool to communicate with the players because I know they read everything. Then his players are doing the same thing. And then Mayo says, no, I want them to talk to the media, and if you're frustrated, say something. I'm like, no, you're doing it all wrong here. This is rookie head coach mistakes. It's
abysmal. Listen, if this doesn't turn around, this will be teaching tape for what not to do.
Honestly,
the media.
Honestly, the whole what not to do thing not to make it bigger than you intended to be, but I'm going to do it anyway. The Patriots have been a what not to do since they hired Gerard Mayo. The process of hiring Gerard Mayo was what not to do. They signed him to a contract that they couldn't get out of to maybe change their mind. Because when you think about the candidates that were out there, Mike Vrabel was on the board.
Dude, you could have Ben Johnson as the head coach.
I don't think we would have had Ben Johnson.
You could have paid him a lot of money with the promise of
because Kraft is paying money.
Yeah. I'm just saying, in theory.
Who else was a big name coaching candidate this last run?
You could have even had Flores back.
Could have had Flores back.
Okay, listen, they're incestuous as is, so we gotta.
No, right. If we're gonna bitch about the nepotism, then we should be consistent. Come on, Ryan, help me out here. Who were the big coaches?
I'm trying to think right now, man.
The last hiring run.
January was a long time ago, dude.
Rookie head coaches, NFL. Let's see.
Were there Dave Canales was a guy I really liked.
Yeah, Dave Canales is a good one. Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
Brian Callahan seems to stink so far. You could have had Jim Harbaugh. I would have taken Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was a blown opportunity, and they didn't do a regular search because they had given Mayo this guarantee 2-3 years ago that he would be the next head coach.
They decided back in 2019 or something like that on a trip to fucking Israel.
But Mayo wasn't even on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
This is bad. This is a joke. This is Jaguars level basement actions.
This is Dan Snyder era Washington Redskins football.
Seriously, this is pre Tom Brady Tampa Bay Buccaneers level of just stoogery.
Current Carolina Panthers.
You know what? I'm going to say it. New York Jets level dysfunction.
Yeah. Woody Johnson type of shit.
It's
bad.
I don't get it. They handicapped themselves because Robert Kraft had a gut instinct. And we're going to talk about this guy in a little bit. And I don't want to, give this guy too much credit because I'm kind of pissed at him. But Belichick never did anything on a whim. There was a method to the madness. There was a method to everything he did. He was a methodical person. Never left himself hanging out to dry. This is bad. The Patriots are a joke. They are functioning like a joke.
It's abysmal.
Seriously. Did you ever think it would get to this point?
No.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how
we were all fucking sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns.
Let's talk about how Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the worst winning percentage in American sports, the lowest winning percentage in American sports before they got Tom Brady. They've done a better job at transitioning from Tom Brady than we have.
Because they have a GM that knows what he's doing.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got to be kidding me.
It's not good. I don't know how many more times I can say this sucks.
It's embarrassing for them. As a fan, I mean, we can talk about how we're embarrassed, but I don't really feel that. I'm just kind of a witness.
Yeah. But listen, we don't play on the field. We don't make the personnel decisions. We don't do any of that.
Any fan who says that they're embarrassed, dude, you're watching at home in the privacy of your home, wearing the clothes you choose to wear. You're embarrassed to wear a Patriots shirt when you go out to Hannaford in the middle of Massachusetts where everybody's a Patriots fan.
Yeah, what? Are you gonna get jeered by some asshole for wearing a Patriots shirt?
The whole
Dude,
embarrassed
I wear
thing.
my Patriots gear and I live in fucking Ohio. And no one says shit to me. So
It's just a stupid thing. But we're off topic. The Patriots are embarrassing. The Patriots should be embarrassed. Robert
yeah.
Kraft should be embarrassed. And I guess he went down to the locker room with Jonathan after the game. So I don't know what came of that, but
Well, okay. One last point I'm gonna make here.
okay, because we have a big segment up next.
Yeah. Owners do not like losing on international stages.
This is the second time. This is the second year in a row we've lost on the international stage.
And
The
I'm
Germany game hurt Kraft to his core.
And I'm pretty sure that was the game that Kraft decided he was going to fire Belichick. And he even said in the Breakfast Club it was not mutual.
That was Robert. I have a rant to go on about that too. That was a joke. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. There's a former Patriot in the media that's been making kind of the rounds talking about his former team. Nope, it's not Tom Brady. It's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is on Pat McAfee. He's on Inside the NFL. He's got his own podcast that he does with Mike Lombardi, who's a hack, and Matt Patricia, who's a bigger hack. And he is did I say McAfee already?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and he does the Manning cast. That's right. A lot of places for Belichick to get some talking points. Let's talk about the last 6 weeks or so. When the Patriots beat the Bengals in the biggest upset in week 1, did he say anything?
No, he was a mute.
When the Patriots played the Seahawks really close, did he say anything?
Not really, no.
Week 3, who did we play week 3? Was that the San Francisco game?
That was the Jets.
Didn't say much after the Jets game. Didn't say much after the Niners game. Didn't say much. He hasn't said much of anything. Until now. Week 7. Monday, October 21st is when Bill Belichick decided that he had some takes on the New England Patriots. This is following the comment after Mayo said that this defense is kind of soft. They played soft. This is a soft football team. None of which Mayo said wasn't true. It was. Belichick says, well, these guys aren't soft players. You know, they got Christian Gonzalez and blah, 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 blah. Didn't say one thing about Drake May. He's like, yeah, you know, we'll see what happens when we get competitive. But remember, do you see that defense and how bad they are? This was the first defense against the run last year. I wonder what changed. I wonder what person is no longer there coaching the defense and making them the number one best run unit. It's certain, like all the players are the same. It's certainly, I can't put a finger on it. We know what Bill's doing. We know exactly what Bill's motivation is. We know that this is just a way to push his agenda about sticking his finger at the Patriots, saying, you shouldn't have fired me. You got the wrong guy. Finger wag, la, 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 la. And I wish I could say that Belichick was the only person to take blame in this stupid petty party, but he's not. Robert Kraft has been nonstop talking about Belichick since basically the season began. And that Breakfast Club interview that you referenced earlier was probably the most damning thing that Kraft has done so far. Going on that podcast show, whatever, and I'm not an avid listener of the Breakfast Club. Is that with Charlemagne the God?
Yeah,
is that his thing? Okay. And he goes on there talking about, yeah, I fired Belichick after that press conference. As much as we knew that press conference back in January wasn't the mutual parting of ways that he pushed it as, it's still gross to push it as that. And then in October, all of a sudden flip the switch and say, yeah, no, I made that decision. That was all me. Little gross. So this Kraft versus Belichick petty party, I'm sick of it. It needs to stop. And as far as fan discourse goes, the whole Gerard Mayo needs to be fired, Bill Belichick, how do you like him now talk, needs to stop. Gerard Mayo might not be the savior of this franchise that we all hoped he would be. And I'm not even casting that as a shadow of doubt on Gerard Mayo. It is week 7 and year 1 with a barren talent on the offensive roster and a defense that's talented but lacks depth. And we're feeling the lack of that depth right now. So yeah, Gerard Mayo's in a tough spot. But Bill Belichick also needed to go. It was time to turn the page on that. We can talk about how great the defense was last year and how great it's always been. It is a damning fireable offense when in 2022 you let a defensive coordinator and a special teams coach call your offense and coach your second-year quarterback. That's a fireable offense for anybody unless your name is Bill Belichick. And then last year, you pout when your boss makes you hire an actual offensive coordinator, but then just to stick it to the boss, you don't let that offensive coordinator build an offensive staff. Bill Belichick didn't admit his faults. He got stuck in his ways, and he dragged his feet, and he didn't do anything to improve that offense. He just wanted to stick it to Kraft and stick it to the Patriots. Fireable offenses. He needed to go. He was stuck in his ways. But these things aren't mutually exclusive. Gerard Mayo might not be the guy, but Bill Belichick also needed to go. And I'm just sick. I'm sick of the Bill Belichick parade and defenders talking about how we made a mistake letting him go. I'm happy we let him go. I'm not happy about the process we made to replace him. Every step of the way, as I said probably 5 minutes ago, was a disaster. Everything done in the worst possible way, with the worst possible methods. There wasn't a legitimate search. There wasn't. They had the guys lined up. And this team did not need any of the same old guard, and we're seeing it now. Ryan, I know I've hogged the last 5 minutes. I'll let you get your takes off on this issue. I hope I didn't steal too many of them.
Well, I have a few that you might not have had, but I've talked about this before with Belichick, all right? When you draft as poorly as he has since, I'm going to say 2016 was his last really good draft.
Did I pull up the drafts while we're talking about them?
Yeah.
I'm sure we did this like not even 2 weeks ago.
You know what? Let's do it again. I want to rehash it because it's fucking. You made the sandwich. Your roster sucks. And yes,
You want
Bill,
2016?
From 2016 onward.
Okay.
2016 is their last, like, even with the Cyrus
So
Jones.
we're just going to run through the players, and you tell me if it was a good pick or bad.
All right.
Cyrus Jones.
Fucking did more time talking shit on Instagram and dropping punts than anything on the fucking field. Fuck that guy.
Joe Tooney.
Bust. Joe Tooney, super, like, grand slam draft pick. He might be a Hall of Famer, actually. What was that?
Jacoby Brissett.
Still in the NFL 8 years later. Good pick for a third rounder.
And Landon Roberts.
Still in the NFL for a 6th round draft pick. That's
Ted Karras.
Still in the NFL for a, 7th round? Was he 6th or 7th round?
6th.
It's excellent draft pick.
The other guys I didn't mention. I mean, you can talk about Malcolm Mitchell and Vincent Valentine, Devin Lucien, but
Hey, Devin Lucien.
2017, you had 4 picks, excuse me. Derek Rivers.
Trash. Well, okay, trash, but not his fault.
Somehow still in the league, by the way.
Yeah.
Antonio Garcia never saw the field.
And that was health issues.
Dietrich Wise, he took way too long to develop, but yeah.
That's a good pick. He's still in the NFL.
Connor McDermott, still in the league-ish.
Still in the league. One point I'll make about the 2017 draft. You had Kareem Hunt and Chris Godwin on the board for a team. And, we can talk about Chris Godwin. We're going to talk about Chris Godwin later on. I have a little bit of a Bucs rant. That's a damn good football player. Damn good receiver.
My favorite draft, 2018.
Oh, yay.
Isaiah Wynn.
I like the pick in theory. With that being said, the torn
Sucks.
Achilles fucked everything up, and he sucks. And you took him over DJ Moore.
Sony Michel.
Took him over Nick Chubb, who wanted to be a Patriot.
And running back in the first round.
Yeah.
Duke Dawson.
He stinks. That was terrible. I hated that draft pick, man.
But you found Juwan Bentley in the 5th, so congrats.
Christian Sam was also part of that class too, I think.
Yep.
I remember being excited for him. He sucked.
2019, N'Keal Harry. Let's run through that list. DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin.
We can rehash this for years. We like that.
Am I forgetting anybody else?
Not as far as like studs go.
Okay.
That was the blunder, I would say.
Josh Uche hasn't done anything outside of 2022.
Oh, are we not going to talk about Jawan Williams?
Oh, yeah, I moved on. Yeah, Jawan Williams in the second round was awful.
No, we need to talk about how bad the 2019 draft is. Jawan Williams, who you traded up to get, and barely played him. And when he did play, he smelled like shit. And you took him over AJ Brown.
Chase Winovich
had good spurts in 2019, his rookie year. That was his best year in the NFL.
And nothing else really a note past that. Damian
Harris would have been fun if
traditional running back pick in the 3rd round. You got what you wanted out of him. Kyle Duggar, solid.
Got a second contract.
Yep. Josh Uche, again, we don't know how to use him.
Yeah, he needs. I think it's the trade deadline this week, right? Week 8.
It's coming up.
Yeah, I would trade Uche, honestly.
The big thing with what I'm seeing is Belichick didn't know how to draft offense, and he couldn't draft high.
Yeah.
Mac Jones at pick 15. The owner forced him to take a quarterback. Okay, I'll give him that. He didn't want him. But trotting out Cam Newton would have been just as bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You needed to take a quarterback. And you didn't give that quarterback a fair shake. That's on Bill.
Yep. And
Christian Barmore, good pick. Ronnie Perkins sucks.
Ronnie Perkins over Amon-Ra St. Brown, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cole Strange, round 1. The Rams laughed at you when you took him, and they didn't have a pick till the 4th.
Wow. We thought he was going to be on the draft board when we were picking. I had never been more upset at the Patriots in my life.
Tyquan Thornton over George Pickens. You traded up for Tyquan.
You know what? I'll say this right now. George Pickens is super talented. He's an excellent receiver. I get why they steered away from him.
Would you rather have George Pickens or Jalen Polk?
George Pickens, obviously, but George Pickens is also like George Pickens under this regime. Oh, geez. That dude can't shut the fuck up either. Super talented, but he is a head case, too.
Gonzo, good pick.
Yeah.
Keon White,
good pick. Yeah.
Defensive players. That's it for Belichick drafts. How many offensive studs you get out of that? In the first 3 rounds. How many offensive studs you get? None.
0.
None. Yeah, not Joe Thuney. You didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, and you know what? Joe Thuney might go to Canton. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champion. One of the best left guards of our generation. And you let him walk.
Didn't want to pay him.
And you look at our O-line now.
Let's go left to right. DeMontre Jacobs at left tackle. Who's playing left guard? Layden Robinson?
Yeah, it's like Layden Robinson, Michael Jordan. It would be really nice to have a potential future Hall of Fame left guard in the interior right now.
No succession plan for David Andrews, who's been injured a lot the last couple of years. City Sal, nice.
Okay, you know what? I gotta say this as well. They took Jake Andrews. You know why? Because it's a fucking offensive line coach at Troy was Cole Popovich, who was our O-line coach a few
That's
years
right.
prior.
That's right.
This organization, and you know what? This is a deeper issue with Bill Belichick and his drafting that I've always had with him, is he's so fucking nepotistic. He only listens to his buddies. He never listens to his scouts. If his buddy says, take this guy, he's gonna fucking take him.
Over Nick Caserio, who has built a juggernaut in Houston.
Yeah, listen, from what I saw in 2019, Nick Caserio was one of the ones hammering for N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, so is Matt Groh, and we hired him.
Yeah. Listen, Groh's been kind of shit, too. But listen.
But how many times was Nick Caserio passed on as far as,
Yeah.
like, his evaluation on talent? It's fair to ask.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I have to say this as well about the scouts. The scouts aren't the issue. Because the scouts say, hey, in 2019, we want A.J. Brown or Deebo Samuel. That's who they wanted. And Bill Belichick overrid it because Herm Edwards and Todd Graham, two of his buddies, were pumping up N'Keal Harry's tires. Do we see a problem here? You only take, like, look at, like, fucking, like, Cyrus Jones, for example.
Alabama.
Why did he take Cyrus Jones?
Alabama.
Because him and Nick Saban are best friends. Bill Belichick, the DB coach. Nick Saban, the DB coach. They love their defensive backs. Took the fucking head case on Cyrus Jones.
My biggest problem with Belichick, try to do everything all at once.
Yeah. And
nothing was more glaring than his last year here when you had Bill O'Brien, who I respect a lot as a coach.
Look at what he's doing at Boston College. He's doing a good job there.
Slow start, or not a great start, slow lately, but he's got that program in games that they shouldn't be in.
Yeah, and Boston College, like, they're not a football school. They're a hockey school.
But they're getting better.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien, he was taking bum quarterbacks in Houston to playoffs.
Dude, he got Brock Osweiler to the playoffs.
I respect Bill O'Brien as a coach.
And we thought Bill O'Brien was the dumb fuck in Houston. And was he perfect?
No. Well, his GM tenure he got him fired for good reason.
Yeah. And Jack Easterby as well. That was also yeah. No.
Is he still employed? Is Jack Easterby anyway?
No. There's a reason why Houston's actually a good football team now.
Yeah, Nick Caserio.
Yeah, and Nick Caserio is like, get this guy the fuck out of here.
Dude, what the hell is Jack Easterby up to nowadays?
I don't know. I don't want to know that guy. That guy is weird.
He's not doing anything nowadays.
Here's a broader point as well. And this ties back to Bill Belichick's philosophies that he got from Bill Parcells. About what, he wants to buy the groceries. If he's making the recipes, he wants to buy.
You want to know where Jack Easterby is now?
Let me guess. That's some mega church trying to be Joel Osteen.
No, he's working at Texas A&M in an unofficial capacity with the basketball team.
And no wonder why Texas A&M fucking underachieves every year.
Their basketball team.
Oh, their basketball. Texas A&M's just perennial underachievers. So,
but Belichick not letting Bill O'Brien build his own offensive staff and just admitting, I screwed up this side of the ball. I don't know what I'm doing. The difference between him and Andy Reid can identify his weaknesses, and he goes and hires one of the best defensive coordinators in all of football, in Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan hires good people around him. Great coach.
Here's a guy that you don't like, but Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell's perfect. A perfect example of this.
Understands the assignment. You're telling me
he's a perfect example of this. Yes. He understands his weaknesses. And he goes and hires two of the brightest minds.
Sean McVay, another guy. Mike McDonald. I look at what he's doing. Jim Harbaugh, what he's doing.
Belichick couldn't take somebody calling the shots anywhere. There was no trust.
No.
Especially at the end.
This is a question about ego. Bill Belichick's ego ruined the Patriots. It's what helped build them up. Is what tore them down. And he made, like I said, he made the sandwich. And here's another thing. And we can go back to his comments about the team is soft, or these guys aren't soft or whatever. Bill, you disingenuous fuck.
What a fraud.
That is disingenuous as fuck. Look at that shit. Well, they basically have the same players. Who are they missing, Bill?
I can answer that, Ryan. Judon. I can answer it.
All right, do it.
They're missing Juwan Bentley.
Their best run stopper.
Jabril Peppers.
Their best run stopping safety.
Matt Judon.
Their best pass rusher.
Although I do still stand by that trade.
I do too, because Judon, the whole
Christian Barmore.
Your best interior defensive lineman.
Those guys seem pretty pivotal in stopping the run.
All seem like pretty good football players, huh?
What a fraud.
It's just disingenuous. It's very disingenuous of him. And I expect better of Belichick. And you know what? We just spent this shitting on him. I do expect better from Belichick from time to time. That was very disingenuous of him. And I don't like that. I don't at all.
And I would accept this criticism if he would talk about the Patriots the last 6 weeks. He refused.
Yeah.
Couldn't be bothered to talk about his former team.
He only does it out of pettiness and spite. He does it with the Jets. He does it with, Eric Mangini. He does it with whoever he just doesn't like.
Bill Belichick is bitter. He's not insightful.
And it's too bad, because when Bill Belichick opens up and is actually like good spirited and stuff like what I mean? Like he's actually talking in, good faith, good spirits. He's one of the most wonderful listens when it comes to football and sports. Even kind of like history. Like he's a nerd in a good way. Like I remember that one time that dude gave us like fucking like 800, like someone said he gave like 800 words in a press conference about like long snapper play.
It's true.
He'll give you insightful answers when he's not being a petty, spiteful asshole. It's frustrating, man. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, all the drama, all this shit. Week 1 was so much fun, and now it's just a fucking disaster. Your quarterback is, you have the guy at quarterback. I should be, on a week-by-week basis being like, you know what? We may not be any good, but we get this young future, I think, probably, like, with the way he's playing, future superstar quarterback. I'll say it right now. And you know what? I'll pump up Drake May a little bit right now while we're at it. The only quarterbacks in their first 2 games, I almost put like a Canadian accent on first. First 2 games, eh? The only quarterbacks with 500 plus passing yards, and I want to say it's like 7 plus passing. Or what's it like 7? No, 5 plus. It's like 500 yards and 5 plus passing touchdowns in their first 2 games are Dan Marino and Drake May.
Let me pull up the official stat.
It's from NFL and CBS. I probably butchered it.
Only 2 QBs since the merger to have 500 plus passing yards and 5 plus touchdowns for the first 2 starts.
Yep, Drake May and Dan Marino. That's insane.
But Bill couldn't be bothered to talk about that.
Yeah. And you know what as well? And this is where also some of the pettiness comes in. He spent a lot of his draft eval on the Pat McAfee show ripping Drake May apart.
Yeah, he hated the pick.
Yeah. Great insight, Bill.
It's aging well to me.
Yeah. You found lightning in bottle with a 6th-round draft pick, and now we have to hear your miserable ass talk on the fucking media every week about this shit. And you know what? I think Bill Belichick he's a great coach, great defensive mind. The New England Patriots' success is because of the man whose jersey is in the, retired.
There's no question anymore.
That's Brady's team. Bill's defenses were good. There were some good defenses. You won 6 Super Bowls because you had a guy that
Set the standard.
Set a standard and overcompensate what's the word?
Overachieved.
Overachieve with the chicken shit you gave him for weapons. And the guys you pushed out the door because you didn't want to give them money. You felt you could allocate it better. When 12 was no longer there.
They found the perfect quarterback to buy all his crap.
Yeah. And Brady, loves being coached. Like Brady, that's why Brady is Brady, man. He's one of one. Nobody else could be quite like him, man. Yeah.
I'm sick of Bill.
And people will say, well, he got weapons for Tom. He got him like Randy Moss and Wes Welker and fucking Josh Gordon and
Rob Gronkowski
and the guy who has a really shitty FX show about him and
yeah. The guy who played Rob Gronk on that show, pretty good effort.
He looks nothing like Gronk, but man, that voice.
He nailed that laugh.
Yeah. Tom made it work. Tom made whatever offense work. Tom made an offense centered around a wide receiver that admittedly was sandbagging it his years in Oakland. Still Randy Moss, and a 5'8" slot receiver into an undefeated juggernaut until the final game.
He brought a tight end and a slot receiver to a bunch of Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Not to say that it was just any tight end.
A 7th-round quarterback convert was the lead receiver for this team for how many years? And I love Julian Edelman. Love that guy.
Does he work with any other quarterback?
I don't know. That was a Hail Mary of a draft pick. Just the idea itself. You took a quarterback that was a fucking option guy in college.
In the MAC.
Yeah. At Kent State. A program that sucks. Historically, they suck. They're amongst the worst amongst FBS teams in win percentage. And you had a quarterback that turned that fucking guy into one of the most. And I'll give credit to Julian Edelman, obviously. Credit where credit's due 1,000,000%. He put in the work. He was ice cold, clutch every year in the playoffs. That dude's route running, all that stuff, his athleticism, incredible. Does it work with any other quarterback? Does that experiment even get past the drawing board stage? Come on. And that was your number one guy. Who else was your number one guy? Or you're not even number one guy. Brady had I'm pumping Brady's tires. Fuck it. I'm going full Brady tire this show right now. You know what? I'm letting it ride. I have to.
Listen, we're ripping Bill.
It's fair. Former lacrosse player looked like Randy Moss.
Danny Amendola,
who is your big ticket, a former UDFA, fucking mediocre athlete, with good body control, good hands, injured all the time, ice cold in the playoffs.
Let's not give him too much credit for Gronk either, because they backed their ass into that.
Yeah.
They're lucky he wasn't a first-round pick.
Yeah. And that's because Gronk had like the neck issues and like
the back.
Yeah, back. Inside the back issues, not the neck. Gronk, and Gronk admittedly could have handled things a lot better in his early 20s.
His pre-draft process, yeah.
He fell asleep hungover at the Patriots draft meeting. Yeah, dude. I'm sorry. That's Tom's team, not Bill's team. I'm standing on that now. I've always leaned that way for quite a while.
Made it no secret.
I know. I'm standing on it now. I'm standing on my business. Fuck it.
Listen, Tom Brady might suck as a commentator, but he's not nearly as vindictive, petty, or fraudulent as Bill Belichick has been.
You know what I'll give Tom a lot of credit for? Yeah, he has a few of his old man yells at cloud shit. But he's actually been like complimentary of guys like in the commentary booth.
Well, he's not allowed to be critical.
Yeah, but
dude, I still laugh every time I think of him calling the first Browns-Cowboys game. He's like, "Yeah, that's a real tough throw from Deshaun," and he just like launched it like 6 rows up.
I wish Brady would be given true serum a little bit for that. That would be so funny. This Deshaun Watson guy fucking sucks. I'm walking down. I'm walking into that locker room. I'm leading the team.
I can't wait to talk about Deshaun Watson. Oh no, what happened? Ryan, come back.
What happened there?
I don't know. You left.
It kicked me out.
That's weird. My finger wasn't even over the button.
This is like a weekly process for us.
Get a laptop. Jesus Christ.
What I was saying though was Brady was probably thinking like put me on the field, put me in those pads in Cleveland. I don't know these guys. I'll probably win them the game. I don't know Coach Stefanski's scheme. Fuck it, let it ride.
Are you excited to talk about Deshaun Watson in a little bit?
Oh man. Come on, man. That was
But let's wrap a bow on the Belichick thing.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up. Belichick, a petty fraud. As a member of the media.
Yeah.
For a guy who told the players to ignore the noise for 20 years, he's certainly making a lot of it. And only to push his own agenda.
Yeah. The New England Patriots are 12's team. 12 is
the house that Brady built, not the house that Belichick built.
Yep.
All right.
We got a Jet Brady team to talk about. Not Kraft or Bill. Let's add Kraft to that, too.
Well, Kraft had the money. Listen, if it wasn't for Kraft, the Patriots wouldn't be in New England. They'd be in St. Louis.
That is true, but without Brady, the Patriots wouldn't have.
It goes Brady, Kraft, Bill.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Jets really quick. We got a game to talk about.
Let's talk about these. Speaking of fucking train wrecks.
2-5. Or 2-4. 2-5? 2-5?
2-5, yeah.
Yeah, okay, and we're 1-6. Okay. Wow. This team, bad. It's been a train wreck since the last time we saw them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And it goes to show that everything the Jets do is run off of desperation. And you sent me, and I watched the clip, but like you sent it to me earlier this morning. I was in class.
Of Jules, yeah. I didn't even watch it. I just sent it to you because I saw the quote.
These teams that think you can just buy into an old quarterback and everything will be just fine because
an old legend quarterback at that. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers ain't Tom Brady.
No.
And Aaron Rodgers is the reason
more stubborn in his old ways. Yeah.
He is the reason why the Jets are in the state that they are.
No, they're in the state because Woody Johnson is an idiot.
Because Woody Johnson is enabling the fucking worst.
There you go.
Enable.
There you go. That's the better way to put it.
Woody Johnson's a terrible owner. Yeah. Literally, the majority of sports problems just come down to ownership. I put it in our notes as I wanted to talk about them briefly, but like, I look at like David Tepper and the Carolina Panthers as another example of just holy shit. And
Oh wow, you did put that in the notes.
I did, yeah.
So let's talk about the Devontae Adams trade so far. Last week wasn't great against Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers, the second that the media asks how you changed the vibe, we'll stop listening to you guys. Number one. This Jets team is a disaster. I don't know how we lost to them so bad.
Because we're even more of a disaster.
Apparently.
Dude.
They ran since the last time we saw them, they've run their coach out of town. They've traded for Rodgers' old favorite receiver, and looks like he's about as disengaged as he was in Vegas.
Well, did you hear what Devontae Adams said to the media?
Yeah, this team's had this issue for a while now.
Where you've been there for a week. Are you talking about the Jets? Or are you talking about the Raiders?
To be fair, they're about similar. They're similar, similar issues. Idiot owners with too much time on their hands.
It's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. The Jets are just Woody Johnson is the prototype on how not to run an NFL organization, like NFL team or a sports organization.
Something tells me the Bills are going to run away with this division. It's not even going to be close.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they got Amari, like we talked about it like last week, right? They got Amari Cooper
on the cheap.
Yeah.
And Keon Coleman looks like he's pretty good.
He's a player I'm looking like I'm wrong about.
I hope so. I liked his size, but like his ability to separate is so bad. But it doesn't matter when he's like 6'5".
Yeah.
And big.
Josh Allen's enough of a gunslinger to just be like, yeah, Keon down there.
And it's working.
But you remember last week on the show, right? Mm-hmm. What was my reaction to the Jets getting Devontae Adams?
I don't remember.
They're desperate. I'm not moved.
Nope, they're still desperate.
What was my reaction when the Buffalo Bills got Amari Cooper?
That's a problem.
Yeah. There's levels to it.
Jets are still the same Jets team as a couple weeks ago. Not a lot changed as far as injuries go. Obviously, the new coach, Ulbrich. So yeah, I mean, what else do you want? It's the Jets.
Yeah.
Breece Hall's very good.
Yeah. This is a week for the run defense. Hey, are you guys going to be pillows or what?
No, this is a big game to get mad. Yeah.
If you're pillows, I'm turning off the game at halftime. I know what's going to happen. If you're actually going to play real run defense, you have a real chance to win.
Before we close this, I'm going to ask the question, then we'll go to the picks at the end. At 2-5, is this Jets team like could New England beat them?
Yes, and that's the problem. I sound like a Justin Herbert fan.
Yes,
if they actually play like a real NFL team again.
In the sense of what?
Basic competency. You have a quarterback that can actually push the ball down the field and can make big time throws, big time plays, and he looks like a future superstar potentially. Like I said, I think he'll be a future superstar with the way he's playing right now. You also have a run defense that just got called out by their coach. How are you going to respond? Are you going to put up or shut up? And basic competency won them the Bengals game. They played competent, safe, and sound football. Very few mistakes. They were bad. Like, they weren't great. They're not a talented roster. They're not good. But they played competent. And then all the
they also had Juwan Bentley then.
Yeah. Well, and this begs Question for Jelani Tavai. What do you do here when Jelon Bentley's not on the field? Are you just collecting checks?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Bad. All right. NFL stories. Tua's back, no guardian cap. Is this the dumbest decision a football player's made in the last decade?
It's bad. It's really stupid of him, man. I'm
Personal
sorry.
reasons.
Listen, okay? I I get why you have the pride to want to get back out there in the field. I get it. All right. If you want to get back out there and play, that's your choice. With that being said, you're also actively putting yourself at risk to have a nuclear disaster of a post football life with the way you're operating. And are the Guardian caps perfect? No.
I don't know. Probably
They
not.
they decrease, from what I've read, they decrease concussions by around like 30%. Dude, you're one more head injury away from nobody medically clearing you. Let's be blunt. Especially this year. If you get it this year, that's 4 in 2 years. Or was it 5? 5 in 2 years.
5. Yeah.
No one's gonna want, no one's gonna want to medically clear you because they don't want the. Actually, you know what? There might be like a team like Cleveland that's already a bunch of sociopathic fucks.
Dolphins are sociopaths.
They are, but they're desperate. No one's gonna medically clear you. So to not wear the Guardian cap if you're gonna come back is just ridiculously stupid. And I'm beginning to not feel sorry for Tua. At this point, this is your choice. And I
Your
look
funeral.
at, and this is really unfortunate in the sense of like, you know, you look at what head trauma does, and this guy's a piece of shit. You shouldn't really feel sorry for him, obviously. Brett Favre has Parkinson's, and he's a year older than my dad.
Was early 50s, right?
He's like 55.
Yeah. Mid.
He has Parkinson's at 55. And you know why? Because that dude was taking the most brutal headshots on a week by week basis. He probably played with like at least like over 10 concussions.
Back when
And now,
concussions were as real as a tooth fairy. Yeah.
yeah, and now his body's degeneratively failing him. I also look at what's his name, Jim McMahon, the quarterback for the Bears.
Yep.
Who, like, that's another really tragic case. I look at like Mike Webster, who was the big case for it. Like kind of like what kicked off like the CTE discourse. You know, one of the greatest centers of all time. Also a guy that like by the end of his playing careers is homeless and like extremely mentally ill and all that stuff. Like just his life fell apart. Like it's on Tua, and I hate to make this super duper serious and sad to a level, but like this is what I'm talking about with Tua, man.
It's okay. The next story is much less serious.
Yeah, you're putting yourself at just the most unnecessary risk ever to have the worst post football life ever. When's someone gonna step in and say enough is enough?
Seriously, won't be his dad. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson popped his Achilles. There were a lot of people. There were some fans in Cleveland that were not exactly mad about this, to say the least. They've kind of been under some scrutiny on Twitter from guys like Jameis Winston, Myles Garrett, LeBron, talking about how they shouldn't be cheering this or whatever. Deshaun Watson, gross human, bad athlete. Yeah, he's not. I mean, he can cry to his bed of money at this point.
Yeah, listen, that was the first time I've ever seen an entire social media timeline like actively celebrate someone's injury. And it's for good reason.
Deshaun Watson's not a good guy.
Yeah. But I'll say this right now. Cleveland fans, you're hypocrites. And I know you're hypocrites. You know why?
How so?
If Deshaun Watson was good and blew out his Achilles,
they'd be sweeping that under the rug. Yeah.
Yeah. And there were Cleveland Browns fans when in Deshaun Watson's first game back, they were mocking the incidents that went on.
Yep, I do remember that.
So, are they the same fans that were doing that shit? No. And there's some Cleveland Browns fans that will never cheer for the team, like ex Cleveland Brown fans, I should say. They'll never cheer for the team again because of that. I'm not directing it at you. I'm not directing at any of the fans that despise the guy and to have despised him since day one, and have despised his decision, and are staying around being Cleveland Browns fans because they're fans of the team. That's not directed at you. It's directed at the hypocrites. Because I know there's people in that crowd that were happy that he tore his Achilles that would be mauling right now if Deshaun Watson was
if he
his
was any
Houston
good.
self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question before we move on. If the Patriots went and it had a similar situation where, like, say that they were in on Deshaun Watson and they went and traded for him and gave him all that money, would you leave? I might.
I would.
I might.
Yeah. Listen, I love the Patriots. I became a fan because of Tom Brady. I mean, that's no secret. Tom Brady and Randy Moss and Wes Welker. All those guys are gone. Gronk's gone. Edelman's gone.
Even Bill's gone.
Yeah, my favorite guy, Bill Belichick. All those guys are gone. If I don't hold, truth be told, there's a good amount of guys in this team, honestly, still that I don't hold a lot of emotional love for.
Listen, if the Patriots did I might not watch football again. Like, I don't know how much I love football.
Yeah,
but I do love the Patriots.
Ooh, that's an interesting. Oh,
what? Something happened?
The Commanders have waived former first-round pick Jamin Davis. He was taken in the first round like 2 years ago.
Interesting. Patriots?
I would claim him.
Patriots?
Sorry, I just saw them like, ooh, I like Jamin Davis coming out of Kentucky. Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't cheer for them, and I would seriously question. Listen, the Patriots have done some stuff where you can say, well, it's questionable, like claiming Mike Floyd after the DUI.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was brutal. That was actually, honestly, like, if we weren't such a great team, that was pretty
Antonio Brown.
Embarrassing. Yeah, taking a chance on Antonio Brown after his antics with the Raiders. Even taking Aaron Hernandez in the draft, knowing that, and this is the
Hernandez wasn't Hernandez yet, but
hold on. This is the biggest definition of heartbreaking. The worst person you know makes a very good point. Urban Meyer was yelling at Belichick to not take him.
Wow.
And you still took him.
Wow. Speaking of Baker Mayfield and the Browns earlier, Chris Godwin's done for the year. Mike Evans is out for a little while.
Yeah.
How fucked are the Bucs?
Well, it actually just came up right now. Apparently, Mike Evans is set to miss 3 weeks.
Okay.
Godwin, though, out for the season. That ankle was
dislocated. Yep.
Yeah.
How screwed are they?
Honestly, the way Baker Mayfield played after Baltimore rattled him a little, and he had some funky moments even versus New Orleans. Like, they still like pumped 51 on them, but I mean the Broncos just pumped whatever, like 30 on them. So
with right-handed Tebow.
Yeah. Unless Jalen McMillan becomes their new Chris Godwin, your wide receiver
Shepard is old man Mike Evans.
Yeah, your wide receiver 1 is Sterling Shepard in the year 2024.
Something's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk, Teddy Bridgewater's his knee tears the ACL, MCL, and other damage. Deebo Samuel's got pneumonia. The Niners, CMC bilateral Achilles tendonitis. George Kittle, a walking injury. How screwed are the 49ers?
Well, when the healthiest guy on your team is the guy that got shot like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, in the middle of me drafting him.
Yeah. um, you're not in good spirits right now, and the
Nope.
49ers are. Listen, this feels like a 49ers season though to me, like an average one. Like for some reason they always just have somebody missing games.
No, yeah, no. When it all comes crashing down, like this is very reminiscent of like 2020. Jimmy G goes down. George Kittle breaks his leg. Debo Samuel's in
And
and out of the lineup.
I like Brock Purdy more than most,
Mhm.
but that's a very tall ask.
Yeah.
And Shanahan's a smart guy, but that's a tall ask, man.
Lions wide receiver Jamison Williams suspended 2 games, PEDs. Better than gambling, I
It,
guess, right?
is it PEDs? I don't. It's drugs. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know. It's
substance
something.
abuse. Okay,
I think it's substance or PED. I don't know. PES is what they're saying. Performance enhancing substances or some shit.
okay.
I don't know. There's a
Lions don't
pattern
really
here.
need him.
There's a pattern here with Jamison Williams of really concerning off the field issues.
Russell
I don't
Wilson,
want to say he's a bad guy. There's a difference. But he's very like
immature guy.
that's 2 suspensions that are immature and stupid.
Russell Wilson versus Justin Fields. How did you feel? Were you moved by Russell Wilson at all on Sunday Night Football, or are you still like me? Like, why did they even make this move?
I still don't get the move, but I mean,
They won the football
he
game.
won and he looked decent. I don't know. The Jets are also the Jets.
No, right? Yeah, for sure. I still think they should have left Justin Fields in there. He was a hot hand. He might not be the
Yeah.
greatest thrower ever, and Russell Wilson might have him beat, but Justin Fields is an electrifying player. Wilson, you're kind of trading Justin Fields' dynamo for Russell Wilson's quote unquote reliability.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be sustainable. The problem with Russ is his mobility is, and what made him
Gone.
so great is not there anymore.
Nope. So we'll see how the Steelers look long term. Got a couple more stories on here. Is Anthony Richardson a bust? He hasn't looked good since week 1.
He hasn't looked good. I also want to say he's also like the same age as like Drake May and a few other really young quarterbacks. So I'm gonna
Big
go with
injury
no.
concerns. I don't see the accuracy. He's a
The
hyper
injury
athlete.
concerns is where he needs to fix something there.
He's a hyper athlete, but I don't see him as a passer. I don't see what everybody else saw.
Granted, I didn't see it with Josh Allen his first couple of years. I think Indy needs to really work with him mechanically and figure out what the hell's wrong. You need to make that work.
That offense kind of looks better with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, it does. It's not looking good. Richardson's young. I don't know yet.
And at close, you wrote the Panthers suck. Why?
Dude, they let Mark. So Jaden Daniels came out relatively early in that game.
Yeah. Rib injury.
You let Marcus Mariota in the year 2024 hang 40 on you. That team, listen, if you're in fantasy, it doesn't matter what team. It could even be us, and we suck. Go pick up the top running back or whatever, or top receiver, or top whatever tight end. Their defense is abysmal. Like, and their offense is just as, if not even more abysmal. That team is just wow.
Yeah.
They fucking suck. Like the Patriots, you know what? We have the quarterback at least, and there's a few other pieces you can look at and be like, yeah, there's promise. I don't.
Panthers
Do
are
you,
barren.
do you see anything on Carolina? Like
Their
they
best
got
players on IR. That D tackle, Derek Brown.
yeah, Derek Brown. And here's the thing, Deontay Johnson's having a good year for them. He's a free agent at the end of the season.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
I would take him in New England.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. So those were your NFL stories.
You know what? There is actually one player I'll give genuine credit to in Carolina, and this is a player that's been sneaky underrated. Is Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's
good.
every time you want to write him off, he's back.
Yeah.
Good running back. Good player. All right, ready to do some picks?
Yep.
Last week, we tied. But you had the lower score, so you win. We tied at 9. As far as the line goes, or the spread, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4. We tied on the line. So our records for the year, I am 43, 46, and 2. You are 48, 41, and 2 as far as the spread goes. As far as the total games go, you have 7 more correct than me. So I got a long way to go. I've had a bad year. Bad year as far as picks go. But it's a new week, so let's just dive right into it. Thursday Night Football. The Minnesota Vikings are traveling to LA to take on the Rams. Have you heard the weird stories of Matthew Stafford and the Vikings and the Rams maybe making a deal? Or have you heard that? Rams?
No, I have not seen that. I saw Cooper Kupp's available.
I did see that, but there's also a story going around from a less than reputable source, but it's floating around there that the Vikings might be interested in Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, that would be something.
Very strange.
That would be very strange.
But that probably won't happen this week. On Thursday Night Football, the Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. I'm taking Minnesota both ways. How are you?
I'm taking Minnesota to win. I think they're going to be pissed off after that loss to Detroit, and Brian Flores is probably going to cook up something diabolical against the Rams.
Taking them minus 3.5.
I am, yeah. The Rams are not good, man.
No. Up next, Baltimore is headed to Cleveland to take on one of the quarterbacks on the Browns. Baltimore is 9.5-point favorites. That's a lot of points in a division rivalry that's usually pretty close, but I'll take Baltimore in the points. How about you?
I'm going to take Baltimore. I'm going to get a little risky and say I think Cleveland's going to cover 9 points.
Okay. Up next, Tennessee is headed to Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions are 10.5-point favorites. What do you think?
Tennessee's taking on the line. I'm going to take Detroit, obviously. I'm going to take Detroit both ways.
I will as well take Detroit both ways. Up next, the Arizona Cardinals are headed to Miami to take on the Dolphins after their big win against the Chargers. The Cardinals, that being. The Dolphins are 3.5-point favorites, assuming Tua plays. I'm taking Miami both ways because the Cardinals are consistently inconsistent. So coming off the win, they're going to go in with a loss.
I'm going to take Tua also, or the Dolphins. And the
you're not wrong.
Well, they are actually kind of low-key Tua merchants. I gotta say quickly of Arizona, Marvin Harrison Jr. is off to a bit of a weird start.
Seriously, yeah.
But yeah, give me Tua and the Dolphins.
Minus 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Atlanta is headed to Tampa to take on the decimated Buccaneers. Atlanta is 2.5-point favorites. I think this is a comfortable Atlanta win.
Yeah, it should be. Speaking of Atlanta, I just saw this right now. They signed an old friend of ours to the practice squad, Philip Dorsett.
Ooh, that's cool. He was fun. Chicago at Washington. Hopefully, this is Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. We need to wait on Jaden Daniels and his medical status. But right now, Washington, this is basically an even spread. Washington minus 0.5 point. This is an even spread. Call it however you want. I'm going to take Chicago. I think they're a better team.
I am too. And I would have took Washington if Jaden Daniels was 100%. But because he's not, and we don't know if he's playing, I'm going to take
Assume
Chicago.
that he is. Does that change for you? Assume that he is playing.
No, because he's playing with busted ribs. So I'm gonna say no.
This is gonna be my lock of the week. Green Bay is headed to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Green Bay is -4.5. I'm taking Green Bay all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Green Bay as well. And just because we let them win does not mean the Jaguars are back.
No, yeah, right. They just beat the Patriots. They're not back.
Yeah.
Indy is headed to Houston to take on the Texans. The Texans are 5.5-point favorites. What do you make of this one?
Give me the Texans. Until Richardson shows it, I'm not really keen on picking the Colts. And yeah. I
This
know.
is a
I know.
large. Go ahead.
No, never mind. I was just gonna say Stroud. Stroud hasn't looked the best without Nico Collins, but still, the Colts defense is not good.
This is one of the biggest spreads of the week. Los Angeles Chargers are hosting the New Orleans Saints. The Chargers are 7.5-point favorites.
Man. Give me the Chargers to win, but it's going to be fugly football. I'm going to take the Saints to cover.
I was thinking the exact same thing. The Chargers don't blow guys out.
Yeah, they muddy it up.
Because that's the Harbaugh way.
Yeah.
Buffalo at Seattle. Buffalo is 2.5-point favorites. I'm taking Buffalo both ways. They're one of the best teams of football.
I am too, unfortunately.
Josh Allen MVP.
It's him or Jared Goff.
People are trying to throw Lamar in there again.
If Lamar keeps playing like he did last night, shit, I see it. But I don't know.
The Eagles traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites. I'm going to let you go first.
I'm going to take the Bengals.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, here's the thing. It's the battle of incompetent coaches. And honestly, both these teams are talented, but also like underachieving to what their respective, talent is. With that being said, I'm going off of vibes. And if I remember correctly, the last time Joe Burrow played Jalen Hurts, it was in the college football playoffs where LSU just curb stomped the absolute shit out of Oklahoma. So I'm going to say Joe Burrow does it again. Not curb stomping, but he wins.
I'll take Philly. They got a lot of guys.
This is
on
the
that
toss-up
roster.
of the week. Like
Yeah.
it's not like they're both like two of the most poorly coached teams in the league, but they're so talented.
Up next, the Panthers are headed to Denver to take on Tebow. Tebow Knicks take on the Broncos. The Broncos are 7.5-point favorites. I'm taking Denver both ways.
I'm taking Denver both ways, and because I emphasized it in the notes, this is my lock of the week.
Hear that, folks? That is Ryan's lock of the week.
And because of that, Javonte Williams, who had an amazing performance last week, is going to do nothing for me because he's in my starting lineup.
KC is traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders. KC is 10.5-point favorites. This is usually a close game, but they don't know who they're playing at quarterback, so I'm taking the Chiefs both ways.
Wait, shit. No, I changed my lock of the week. I didn't know this game was on the schedule. Fuck. Okay, yeah, no, this is my lock of the week. Dude, the Raiders signed Desmond Ridder to maybe be the guy. Come on.
Rough.
Now it would be hilarious if the Chiefs lost this, but
it's been a rude introduction to Tom Brady's tenure as a Raiders owner.
Yeah.
Dallas is headed to San Francisco to take on the decimated 49ers offense. The Niners are 4.5-point favorites. I'm taking Dallas. After the bye.
Yeah, I'm going to take Dallas. With that being said, and we didn't get to bring this up, but
Jerry Jones
does not like Mike McCarthy in his play calling.
And Monday Night Football, give me the score at the end so I can add the points. The Giants are headed to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Steelers are 5.5-point favorites. I'm taking the Steelers in a 17-13 game. So I guess I'll take the Giants to cover the 5.5 points, but I'll take Pittsburgh to win. When I say 17-13, so that's 40 or 30. Yeah.
Who keeps on insisting to put the Giants and Steelers on primetime TV?
Seriously.
But that means that Steelers easily. The Giants are terrible. I was gonna bring it up. There have been more hockey players to score goals at MetLife Stadium than Daniel Jones touchdowns since 2023.
Well, that won't change this week because they're in Pittsburgh. But give me a score.
I'm gonna say 17-7.
24. And that gives you Pittsburgh minus 5.5. You have them covering that. So that's good. Now for the finale, what do you think the line is for the Patriots and Jets?
I'm gonna say Jets minus 4.5.
Jets minus 6.5.
Jeez.
I'm taking the Jets. I'm sorry. The Patriots got to show me something on defense. They really do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Until they show competency, like I said, all it takes is basic competency, but they haven't shown it. So until they do, unfortunately, the Bugatti in the fucking trap house is gonna be fucking stuck there.
At minus 6.5, do you have the Patriots covering, or is this going to be kind of the 2-possession game that it's kind of been?
No, Breece Hall is gonna run all over these pillows.
Yep. So we don't have a ton of. Do we have any differences? Do you have one difference?
Is the Eagles Bengals? That's literally gonna decide our week.
Yep. I gotta do something, man. My picks
leave it to
sucked.
Pennsylvania to decide everything. Am I?
You are right. This has been the Foxboro BeatCast, everybody, as Ryan keeps on battling, software issues, kicking them out every 2 seconds. All right, he's back. Ryan, do you want to say goodbye to the people?
I would love to. Everyone, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your week, and let's hope on next week's episode we can celebrate a win
instead of ripping Belichick.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and follow the show. Follow the page at Foxboro Beat on Facebook. Comment all your thoughts. And yeah, we will see you next time. Let's go. God damn it. Here we go.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Foxboro BeatCast. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.